This is JR, and I am the Renegade Realtor. I'm here to show you one of the most powerful systems that I have to sell your home literally in a weekend. So, simply said, the name is what it says, is sold in a weekend system. I'm the Renegade Realtor, and I am going to go through a quick presentation to show you how you can get from anywhere from 100 to literally 300 people in your house in one given weekend. So, is it impossible? Absolutely not. Is there some strategies and some ways to go around doing it? Of course there is. Is this like a traditional open house? It is not. So it's quite a bit different, and I'll explain all the details through you. So the first thing that I want to tell you, there's three ways that we buy real estate. Number one, I have immediate buyout program, which we will buy for cash. So we can go into your home, give you an offer. It's probably not going to be market value. I'll just be upfront right now, but we will give you an offer on your house. If you need a lot of work, if you need a lot of things done to it, if you want to get out of it quickly without spending more money. So a lot of times with our immediate buyout program, you'll end up making more money with us buying it, because if you have to fix all the repairs and do all the things that are wrong with the house, we a lot of times can get that done much cheaper and take you out of the equation altogether. The second way of doing things is a traditional sale. I list properties all the time. I buy properties all the time. So those are the first two ways of doing things. So our immediate cash buy program, our for sale traditional through the MLS program. And what I want to tell you, and this is what we're going to talk about a lot today, is what I believe the most powerful way to sell a home is what I call an online auction. So those are the three ways, and we'll go into detail how these things work as we go through the presentation. But I will tell you, hands down, and I learned this process back in 2006. And I want to say that I'm not that old, but I've been doing this thing for quite some time. I've been doing real estate since 2003, full time. I've been anywhere from an investor to a broker to a rehabber and everything in between. So I've sold over 1,000 transactions, and to be exact, 1,051 transactions buy and sell over the last 16 years. So I've seen it all. I've been there, and I'm here to help and pass along the most powerful things that I've learned during that period of time. So the next thing is a cash offer. So we can give you a cash offer or an immediate buyout literally within 72 hours buying your home. Again, it's probably not going to work for everyone. I'm going to tell you up front, because this is more for homes that might need a little bit of work. But there are people that are willing to get out of their home much quicker than others. So this is just another avenue to help you out, to make things easier to work through the selling your home process. So what we do is we have a 12-point marketing system to actually market our auctions. So I'll explain how the auctions work, but I'm going to talk about our marketing, because we do this type of marketing on all of our listings, whether we're going to buy it for cash, whether we're going to just list it as a regular listing, or if we're going to do it on what I call sold in a weekend, or our auction style marketing. So we're going to dominate search engines, which is called SEO stuff. We're going to use our database. We're going to work on buyer attraction techniques. So we have Facebook ads we use. We have and it's not on here, YouTube ads that we use. We have Instagram ads on here. We have PPC ads here. We advertise on Craigslist. We advertise to renters. And all of these things that we're talking about with inside of here is called my property launch program. And so it's a property launch. So it's literally like taking all those things, combining it together, and exploding in the marketplace. We have neighborhood notification, our mega open house, which is our auction style homes, online syndication, where we're taking your property and literally spitting it out to over 1,000 different websites to get your property known quickly. And we have artificial intelligence, which simply means that if people are looking for stuff and they click on certain things, the marketplace, Facebook does, and a lot of these websites do it, where have you ever clicked on something, and then all of a sudden once you've clicked on it, someone seems to be following you around the whole time. That's part of artificial intelligent marketing, and a lot of times they call it retargeting. So these are part of the marketing system that we put together to market your home, not only on your regular basis, but if we take all things and pack this into an online auction, it makes for an amazing experience. So the first thing I want to talk about is online visibility is crucial. So the first thing that happens with all buyers, no matter what happens, is they start their search online. And you can see in this thing that internet is used 100% of the time for a search somewhere in the process. So find an agent's done 89% of the time. That's how a buyer finds somebody. But 100% of the time, as buyers today are going online. So having visibility, having information, having photos, having different ways of getting them to connect you is super duper important. So getting people online and also offline. so many people have focused their market online that a lot of times they simplify and miss regular things like signs, auctions, bandit signs, things that we're going to use for our auction today are crucial to getting your property known on both online and offline. So the next thing I want you to know is the top 3 search engines. So if you look at here, Google's number 1, YouTube is number 2, Facebook is number 3, and those 3 websites is where you must. It's not like you should or you kind of would, but you absolutely have to have your property and on all of those websites. So we have actually a service where we take your property with top keywords in Alexa, and we set that up so when people are searching for properties in your area, they're going to find them on Google. So that's super important with what's going on today, because that's where a lot of people go to. The next thing is Google domination. So we're going to add different videos about your property. We're going to add different videos about keywords with your property. We're going to have different keywords with your area in your property. So these are all different videos and keywords that people use to search for properties when they're looking online. And this is massively important because Google, before Facebook, is probably one of the biggest areas that people search to find property. So the next thing is YouTube. YouTube has information about your property, other people's properties. People love videos. When you're watching this video right now, I've probably been on here, well, I have, so I'm trying to talk a little bit quicker, so this is a little bit quicker presentation, but I've been on here 6 minutes and 42 seconds, so I would bet that you've probably watched this video more than you've watched other things or just simple reading. Reading is not as much as fun as watching, so especially if you make things animated. So YouTube domination is super, super important. So we do online syndication with things with LinkedIn. We have Facebook here, Instagram, Vimeo, Google+, Pinterest, and Twitter. All these are great places to get your property because each one has a little bitty piece to add to the whole puzzle, which make things incredible. So, and then you want to do is you want to syndicate over, and actually this number, I apologize, this number is a little bit off. So this is 600 plus national, international websites. Nowadays, the way that things are connected with my marketing, it's over 1,000 different places. So I do apologize that that's a little bit off. That should have been updated, but is over 1,000 different websites that your property will show up if done properly. So next thing we want to talk about is conversion. Conversion, this is our database. This is where we get people online and we have to nurture them and we have to talk to them. So we have a database, so everyone we talk to, like you're seeing this video right now, I would guarantee that you're inside my database, so I can continue to talk to you, I can nurture you, I can build a relationship with you. So you're not necessarily going to trust me, believe me, learn more about me just in this simple presentation, but as we go and as I educate you and give you more information and talk about all the different things we do, you'll learn to trust and believe me and see that a lot of the things that are out there are absolute must to get your home sold. So again, I'm not here to persuade you about me or anything else, but I am here to teach you that the more that I can educate, the more that I can give you, the more that I can teach you, the more I can help you make your property more sellable, the easier the whole process is going to be. So that's very important. I believe that I'm a student of the game and a never-ending learner, and hopefully this is part of the process for you as well. So the next thing is targeted PPC. So different keywords that surround your specific area, that surround your specific house, we are going to set up in Google with targeted PPC ads. And all of these ads, whether it is Facebook, whether it is YouTube, whether it is Google, whether it is SEO, whatever they do, we actually attach what we call retargeting, and that's the artificial intelligence side of it, that we actually then, once people hit on our initial information, we're going to follow them around. We are going to literally go from site to site, place to place, and follow them. Again, you've probably seen this before. You go to Amazon.com, and if you're a female, you might be looking for a purse. If you're a guy like myself, you might be looking for a book, or you might be looking for something to work around the house. You click on that item, and the next thing you know, every website and every place you go, literally they are following you around. That is called retargeting. And as you retarget, you can give them different ads. So if you're looking at something like this, maybe I want to teach you more about promoting your house. Maybe I want to teach you more about preparing your house. Maybe I want to teach you more about how to prep your house, get it ready for selling, and do photos. There's so many different things that I can teach you by retargeting. So that's the next thing. This is an ad that I kind of stole off of a buddy of mine, but this is one of our Facebook ads that we have that we can get down in here and shoot things off. So this house is how we might promote your house on an auction. So what we're going to do with the auction, and again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but this is a great idea of promoting things that gives buyers incentives to come look at the house. So selling a home is not just about your home, but it's about giving your home like maximum exposure, selling its maximum features, talking about its copyright, meaning how the words on the paper flow, getting stuff to buyers that will literally want them to knock down your door and come in. So put 1% down. A lot of people would love to buy a home with 1% down, or a lender with 2% down, or seller assisted information, minimum down payment. A lot of things can help buyers get them to look at your property. Again, selling your property is your property's responsibility, but getting people to your property, getting them inside your home, getting them to look at your opportunity is the first thing we want to do. So to keep it simple, traffic is the most important thing that we want to do to get people inside of your home. So the first thing that we utilize more than anything is Facebook. Facebook is literally gone to 1.6 billion Facebook users. I mean, literally quarter after quarter for almost the last 10 years, Facebook is the biggest place to go in order to, you can talk to people. So for example, I might have Facebooked you and looked who you are, what you do, what you're about, and this way I get a little bit better opportunity to find out what you do. And I would think you do the same about me. Go Facebook me and look around, see what I do, see what I'm about, see about my family, see about where I live, see about who I am. So that's important. So the world is, and actually look at this, is I've updated, it's over 1.86 billion monthly active for Facebook use. So there's a ton of people in the world that are on Facebook. Why Facebook? Why do we want to use it? So here's one of the beauties with Facebook is we can actually tailor who we're talking to. So if we're talking to people that are looking on realtor.com or that are looking in the Glenview area that have talked to, let's say Trulia or Zillow or anything like that, we can target ads on those specific people. We could target ads on their behavior, on what things that they're clicking on Facebook, what if they saw an ad for a home for sale, we could set the hours of the ads, retargeting, as I mentioned to you. So we can build an enormous audience of exactly people that are looking for your properties. We can upload and email those lists, and we can bring those people to our website. And once we bring them to our website, we can continue to communicate with them. So that is the brilliance of Facebook, is we have an opportunity to see them on their feed, see them everywhere else. So once I talk to them, you might see other advertisement or other tips or other strategies in Facebook. So those are things that we do. The next thing is Instagram. Instagram's quick. And we can put ads on Instagram to get more people looking at your property. So each one of these pieces is like a total pie, and this is each piece of the pie. So one of the things we do on Craigslist, we used to use Craigslist 15 years ago, and I have still used Craigslist to this day to get people out there. You get a lot of investors on there. You get a lot of people that start on Craigslist to start looking around. It's almost like the beginning or embryonic stages of a buyer to see what's out there. There's deals on Craigslist. There's things that need to be had. So when we're doing an auction, we're looking to promote and bring in as many people as we can to your property all at one time. And I'll explain what that does and what effect that has for you. So what we want to do also is local renters, people that have lived there, that are renting and paying the same amount of money that they pay for your home if they had a mortgage. Interest rates have gone to 5%. They've come back down. They're below 4% right now. And that's an incredible opportunity for someone to go in there and buy a house and literally build forced equity. So we also work on the neighborhood notifications. We can work on Facebook, and this is a different map. This, quite frankly, isn't our local map, but this is just a map that I like that had different areas, so we can target each one of these areas. So if you lived in the central area of Phoenix, we can focus and send mailers to different people. And we've gotten so good with intelligence in people and mailing lists. We could go in the local areas. We can see that people that, for example, have 3 or 4 or 5 people in their family and they have a home that's under 2,000 square feet, most likely they're outgrowing their home and they might be upgrading. So we can do different demographics and behavioral things like that with mailing as well. So the information age has expanded so amazingly that you can do so many powerful things. So it's really cool. So our mega open house, or what I call my auction style house, is really what we're going to talk about today. So all of these things, all the marketing we've talked about is to really funnel this right into an open house situation. So how long has been the house on the market? So artificial intelligence, this is one of the things that you probably got here, is that I'll send a text to you, and I might send a text to 200 people at one time, and we'll kind of talk back and forth. And this is one of the things they call bots, where we can talk to you on Facebook. How long it's been on the market, just to run, are you accepting any offers? So this thing here is all done automatically. So another piece of the puzzle. So again, we have an entire pie, and this is just one piece of the puzzle to make your home get sold quick and for top dollar. So what we're going to talk about is the online auction. The online auction, to me, is probably the one most powerful aspect of trying to sell your home. So online auctions, who uses auctions? Chase uses auctions, Bank of America, Citibank, Wells, Fannie Mae, HUD. I bought and rehabbed over 100 HUD homes over the last 3 or 4 years. U.S. Department of Veterans, IRS, the USDA, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. All these different companies have used auctions to purchase and sell, to sell homes. And you got to ask yourself, why would somebody want to do that? Well, they're doing that because, you know what? They can sell their home and get maximum money for what they do. So there's three strategies for pricing, and this is true for anything. And the reason we talk about this is because you have 3 ways to do it. You can price it very low and attract a lot of buyers. You could price it at the marketplace, and you're going to get the yin and the yang of the marketplace, meaning that you're going to get buyers that are looking for that specific price range of properties, and you can do what I call the price below, well below market, maximizing buyers. So with this technique, so what we're going to do in the auction theory, and I know I don't want to scare you, but we're going to make your house look much less or much lower in price to start out with, so we can pull in all these buyers and build out an attraction model that has people bidding back and forth and fighting for price. So I can tell you without a doubt, and I started doing this back in 2006, that once you have 3, 4, 5, 6 people that are truly interested in your house that are going to move in, they are going to bid against themselves and push up the price. And 9 out of 10 times you are going to get more for your home in a quicker amount of time than normal, because now you have the pressure of other buyers feeling that loss of I'm missing out. Have you ever bought an iPhone or a new phone and you're literally like waiting to get it, and they hold back and they say it's going to be out in a week, and they have all this advertisement, and if you don't get it in line, and then guess what? When you get the phone or the iPhone when it first comes out, you are going to pay the most amount of money than any other time that you have it. And why do they do it? Because they give you this scarcity model. And that's what we're doing with the auction. We're giving people the scarcity model, that if you don't react now, if you don't do something now, you are going to miss out on this opportunity. And I am going to tell you, human nature, people hate missing out on things. So that's the big thing. And so auction marketing is very simple. The difference between, so if you look at this house on the left side, you have a $300,000 house, and then you have the auction style house, which is $282, and a lot of times we may even put a lower price than that, but we'll talk about that once we decide that this is something for you. And the difference here is this $300,000 includes commission for buyers and sellers, and that's already included in the price. What we do that's different, we actually make, typically in most sales, you have the seller pay for the home, or you have the seller pay for the marketing. In the auction style marketing, you're going to have, like they do on Hubzu, you're going to have the buyer pay a buyer's premium. So now it's the responsibility of the buyers to pay the commission for the seller as well as the buyer's agent. And that makes your home perceivably looking better. So hopefully this starts to make sense to you as we start to put this together. So your traditional listing, you have a $300,000 commission, $300,000 house, you get an $18,000 commission, you pay $3,000, which is a little bit more than that in closing, and the seller, and this is just an estimate, but the seller then that's $279,000. If you do an auction style house, again, at market price of $300,000, there's a buyer's premium. So instead of taking that commission and taking it from the seller, like yourself, that commission is then added to the top of that, and the list price is $282. So you have $282, 1% closing cost. The seller nets a little bit more, and then the buyer pays roughly the same amount of money, $298. But the perception is that they're getting a much better deal because they don't realize, or they do realize, but it's not as easy to consume, is that they're actually paying for closing costs. When you buy a home, and I bought many homes myself, is a lot of times the buyers never really realize how much it is in actual buyer's cost. So this is a perceivable way of getting more people interested in your property faster. So how do we go about doing that? I think I went the wrong way. So we're going to do this. So the magic auctions are simple. So you have $300,000, $18,000 commission, $3,000 for closing. You as the seller nets $279. Now, if you have a market price of $300,000, the buyer's premium is added on top, and the winning bid, if it pushes itself up, is $290. So a person now thinks that a $300,000 property they're getting for a $10,000 discount. They pay their 1% in closing fee, but you as the seller nets, because the buyer's paying a premium, $286. So you're netting almost $5,000 or $6,000 more because the seller doesn't necessarily put all the costs together originally. But what happens is, it's not that they don't want to pay that, it's because they have a surplus of buyers all at one time looking at the property, coming to the property. So every time a buyer is walking to the property, there's 10 other buyers at the property as well. So there's always that other chance of them missing out and not knowing exactly what's going on. So the benefits of selling your home using the auction are very simple. You enjoy a simple sales process that requires no negotiation on your end. The buyer pays most, if not all, the real estate commissions. The auction deadlines create buyer urgency. With your typical listing, you don't have a buyer urgency. So what we do is we put your property on the MLS. We start marketing it through all those channels we spoke about, and we have this done over a weekend where they can visit it, but the auction deadline is for a couple days after. So we'll have a weekend, your home sold in the weekend system, which is what it's named after. We'll have it from 11 to 4 on a Saturday and 11 to 4 on a Sunday, and then they will be able to come through the home. So typical timeline is 14 to 30 days or less, which eliminates carrying costs, makes it faster. You set the terms and the day of your auction so you can plan your life accordingly. The sale isn't contingent on inspections and appraisal, and that depends on the home. I a lot of times say that the inspections and appraisals and stuff take place during the actual auction time. But what happens is with this, and because this is an open auction, that means you have to agree to price and the buyer has to agree to price. Nobody's stuck on a reserve. You don't get a price that you don't want. They don't get stuck with something. So until they write up a contract, they put everything together. If they have financing, appraisal has to come into play, but at least things are moving along sooner than later. Competitive bidding process helps you receive the true value of the property because everything. So experienced professionals handle the marketing, the promotion, and the paperwork of the event that takes place. And that's what we do. So benefits to the buyer, they have complete control over the buying the home. So what happens is you get your best and highest offer a lot of times when you have 3 or 4 people interested in the home. And of those 3 or 4 people, you get highest and best. So with 3 or 4 people, let's say, for example, in this home of $300,000, if you did your traditional sale just off the MLS and you had highest and best where 3 people are interested, maybe you had a $300,000 offer, 2 people offered $301,000, maybe someone offered $302,000, but because we cannot tell the other buyers what the prices are of all the people bidding, the highest bidder might be literally a few $100s off, where the person before that might have gone up a little higher in order to get that. So because all this is complete price transparency, every bidder knows what every other bidder is doing, because this is all done online, is that if they truly want the house more and you feel like you're only $500 or $1,000 off, people automatically want to bid a little bit higher because they know they're so close to getting the house of their dreams that they might bid a little bit higher. So available to preview the house before bidding. There's no hidden surprises. Reduced buyer premium if they don't have an agent, so that can save them some money. Normal contract and closing process, and traditional financing acceptance. So all the same things that they typically get with the typical buyer's transaction is they can get with the auction. So let's talk about this a little bit more. So this is a recommendation. So here's what happens with pricing on an auction. So if you price your home competitively and at market value, here's what things happen. Is like if your home is comparatively close to this, and then you have a lot of people at your auction, right? you could have a market price home, but it might bid itself up a little bit higher. And that's what happens a lot of times, because out of pure knowing where the price is and knowing how many other bidders are bidding at the same time, it forces people into an emotional frenzy. And that emotional frenzy could push your home up as much as 10%. If you look at this, 10% above market value just on the emotional factor alone. So pricing with auctions is so critical, because you allow the market to literally take control of pricing, and the buyers will bid it up automatically. And so let's say that all things went backwards. So let's say we don't get as many people at the auction. We could say that we don't get people to bid up. So if nothing happens at the end of the auction, let's say you have a home at $300,000, the highest bid is $250,000, and you will not take 1 cent less than $270,000. Well, you could say no to the auction. You could say no to the buyer. So it's open-ended, meaning that you have the last say-so. Even if you have the highest bidder at $250,000, you can go back then, which is the beautiful part about this, and so much different than any other ways of doing auctions. You can go back, and this is what I've done, is I've had buyers come back and they're just a little off. So your seller perception of price is a little higher. The market's perception of price, because you've had so many buyers go through the house, is a little bit less, and they're a little bit off. So what we do is then we go back and we negotiate with the highest bidder to get you happy in the middle. So with the auction process, it gives you so many more options, because you have so many people coming at one time that emotional frenzy pushes up the price, and it helps you find a true value of the marketplace. And then with that last little strategy of let's negotiate one more time together, once you have the highest bidder at a price that's close to you, then you could find somewhere in the middle and make even a little bit more money than you should have normally. So this is absolutely one of the best ways of getting your home sold for even higher than what you expect, without having to know what pricing is in your area. So basically simple. The value of your property is determined by what a buyer is willing to pay and a seller is willing to accept in today's market. Buyers make their price decision based on comparing your property to other properties sold in your area. Historically, your first offer is usually your best. And I was just talking about this with somebody today, is that your first offer that you typically get when selling your home, and I've again sold hundreds of homes that I have purchased, I have rehabbed, I have sold, and I can tell you hands down that first offer that comes in is always the highest. If you wait or just don't take it, a lot of times you will take less, and I can tell you firsthand that happens. So it is very important to price your property at a competitive market value when we finalize the listing agreement. So what happens is we don't have to worry about the price will come up. So here's what my suggestion is with price. I always tell people to take 50% of what you think the home is actually worth, and that is our starting bid price. Because what we're looking to do is we're looking to attract and bring as many people to our auction as possible. But here's the other thing that we're going to do that helps out with the process, is we want to make sure that anyone that comes through your home has registered. We have some information about them, and they're just not random people that are just looking to be your nosy neighbors and your looky losers or loosey lookers. So we really want to make sure that people that are coming to your house are qualified, are ready to purchase, and we can do that as much as we can. But it doesn't mean they want to buy your house, but at least we have a good understanding that we're not just letting every person in the neighborhood in the property. So that's super important. So in a seller's market, which is kind of what we're in now, if the seller wants a price that's ahead of the market may rise enough to make the price attractive to buyers. So the way that they do that is with the emotional frenzy that I was telling you about. So we have enough people come to the property, and we have enough people that are interested in the property. We have enough bidders that will bid the property high enough to make it emotional. So with this sense, we will start them at the house. We will get them bidding at the property. We have everything online, and at the end of this presentation, you will see our stuff. So in a buyer's market, if a seller is caught with falling home prices, they can end up chasing the market down. And I can tell you, I've seen some people that today, over the last 6 to 8 months, that prices are starting to come down. Here in Northbrook, they've come down a little bit. In Glenview, they've come down a little bit. In Arlington Heights, they've come down a little bit. In Mount Prospect, all these surrounding areas, the average home around the $300,000 marker has started to dip down because there's more inventory. And I will tell you right now that I have seen more inventory now than I have since 2007, before the market started crashing. So, and you can tell that, and don't take my word for it. So what I want you to do is, when you're driving home today from work or wherever you're coming from, I want you to look and see how many signs are in the yard. As you see a sign, when you start seeing a sign, then 3 or 4 more houses, 5 more houses, another sign, and 3 or 4 more houses, another sign. That's exactly what took place in 2007 before the market started to correct. So every market needs to correct. That's just the natural up and downs of the marketplace. And the market really made a bottom back in 2012, and we're in 2019. So typically, markets will cycle, meaning go up and down within a 7 to 10 year pattern. And I think we've come to the top of that just because interest rates are pushing and people are getting scared of that. Those sellers that thought they should have sold last year are going to sell now because they're afraid that money at 4% is much stronger than money at 5%. So this is the exact time to do this. And what most people are doing is just putting their property on the MLS. They're marketing as much as they can, but they're not bringing an urgency aspect to it. And this auction theory is an urgency aspect. So pricing your home right the first time is the important key. Properly priced and attracts more buyers, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. We want to get a bidding war, so we want to get as many buyers to your property as possible. Buyers with agents, buyers by themselves, buyers that are looking. So the massive amount of buyers coming through the home will give that frenzy of effect. And so buyer traffic is at its peak in the first 30 days, and that's the most important thing. So we want to get those people in here. So price competitively the first 30 days, and this is an actual chart. So if you look at this, if you price your home competitively right out of the gates, 61%, because I did a FSBO presentation, that 61% of homes will sell within the first 3 to 4 weeks at 100% of their actual value, and if not more, if they price it properly. So this is why we want to actually in the auction price our home properly on the MLS. We want to price it properly with our auction starting price, and we want to get the market in an absolute frenzy of doing things. So if you want to get started today with the auction theory, you can go to ibidhouses.com and register, or call me at 312-401-6100. This is the auction website. So when we do the auction, we will put your property on the website, and bidders will be able to bid on the site, and they will see what other bidders are doing and what they're doing, and we will be able to pull them out. So when they come to the home, they register, we get all their information, we know exactly what they're doing. We have them do, what I do is we give them a bidding sheet, an advanced bidding sheet with rules and regulations of how this thing works and how to make the most money out of their bidding. And at the same time, we want to get them, those people that are interested. So maybe they're interested, but they're a little scared. So just to get them over the edge, what I've done in the past, which I will do again, is have them bid a penny. So a penny allows them to start bidding without really getting, so some people get apprehensive of showing other people their bid. So what I suggest to people is, let's get you bidding a penny, so then I can help you and walk you along and guide you through the process to get this thing going. So I can tell you hands down that I've sold numerous properties with this. I can tell you also that what this has done is, if I have it listed on the MLS and I've marketed through the other channels, we have a frenzy of people coming to the property at the same time. And if a buyer's agent or the buyer comes in with our other people there at the same time, it pulls the buyer from deciding that, hey, maybe I'm on the fence on this home, but seeing all the other people and seeing and feeling that opportunity of loss gets them off the fence and moving forward to get your home sold. So what I want you to do today is go to ibidhouses.com, register. That'll send me an email. If you want to, the best way is just call me, 312-401-6100, 312-401-6100, and you can text me on that number, call me on that number. Down here, you can send me an email here. If you call me today about your property, one of the things I'm going to give you absolutely free is my book, How to Sell Your Home Faster for Top Dollar. I put together a book here, and this helps with the process and helps you, do the things necessary to get your home sold for the most amount of money. And I want you to understand that a lot of times when people hear the term auction, they get a little bit apprehensive because they feel like this is a distressed situation. You can auction homes that are non-distressed. And I will tell you, as I've had people come through my auction on a regular basis, their first question is, this a distressed property? And my first answer to them is no. This is not a distressed property. This is just another way of marketing this person's home so they can get it sold. If I told you that this was an open house, I would have had 10 people in it. If I told you this is an auction and you have the opportunity of getting the deal of your lifetime. I'm going to have every person in the neighborhood coming to the house, bidding on the property and bidding it up more because of the emotional frenzy of what it's worth and what it would have sold on the MLS by itself. So thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate you giving out your time today to listen to me. Give me a call immediately. My schedule is filling up very quickly as we continue through the year doing my auctions, and I want to make sure that I got a slot for you. So typically, again, we need anywhere from 7 to 12 days. We listed on the MLS. One of the things that we do differently on the MLS is we do not allow people to see your property, so it builds up that frenzy of when they want to see it, what they want to do, and we tell them it's only available on that weekend. So the agents have to come in, the buyers have to come in, everyone comes in all at one time to build that frenzy. So again, I appreciate your time. Thank you for spending this time with me. Have a great day, and we'll see you on this